German tanks in World War II were among the most advanced in the world, but some designs went beyond mere superiority. They inspired outright fear in enemy ranks. And these machines could halt offensives, reshape battle plans, or even win without firing a shot. Today we're counting down the 12 greatest German tanks that defined the battlefield and left an enduring mark on history. 12. The Maus. Officially designated Panzerkampfwagen VIII Maus, it was the heaviest tank ever constructed in human history. At 188 tons, this tank was armed with a devastating 128mm KWK-44 main gun, complemented by a 75mm secondary cannon. Its armor was so thick, 220mm at its strongest points, that it was virtually impervious to any Allied anti-tank weapon of the era. The engineering team, led by the legendary Ferdinand Porsche, envisioned an indestructible breakthrough weapon that could smash through any defensive line. But here's where reality met ambition. The Maus could only crawl at 20 km per hour on good terrain, and its 1,200 horsepower engine guzzled fuel at an astronomical rate. More critically, its enormous weight meant it couldn't cross most bridges. German engineers had to design special snorkeling equipment that would allow the Maus to ford rivers underwater. Imagine a submarine tank creeping along riverbed floors. But wait, here's something that will blow your mind. Did you know that Hitler himself ordered the destruction of these unstoppable tanks? And the reason why will shock you to your core. This is because he realized that the advanced Soviet forces might capture and reverse engineer these technological marvels. The man who dreamed of invincible superweapons chose to destroy them rather than let his enemies benefit. One Maus was blown up, while the other was captured incomplete, meaning we almost lost the heaviest tank in history to its own creator's paranoia. 11. The E-100. This experimental super-heavy tank represented Germany's attempt to standardize their armored forces under the E-Series development program. Weighing 140 tons and designated to mount a colossal 150mm gun, the E-100 was intended to be faster and more reliable than the Maus, while maintaining devastating firepower. German engineers planned for it to reach 40 km per hour, which was twice the speed of the Maus, while still providing 200mm of frontal armor protection. The single chassis that was constructed reveals fascinating insights into late-war German engineering. Unlike the Maus's complex multi-turret design concepts, the E-100 embraced a more streamlined approach, focusing on a single, overwhelmingly powerful main gun. The 1,200 horsepower engine was similar to the Maus, but the overall design philosophy showed German engineers learning from their earlier mistakes. However, the war ended before the E-100 could be completed and tested. This incomplete prototype was captured by British forces and shipped to England for evaluation, where it provided valuable intelligence about German technological capabilities. The E-100 remains a testament to what German engineering might have achieved given more time and resources. 10. The Panzer III. While it may not have the intimidating presence of the super heavies, this medium tank was arguably more important to Germany's early war success than any other armored vehicle. Initially armed with a 37mm gun and later upgraded with a 50mm and even short 75mm cannons, the Panzer III served as Germany's primary battle tank during the most successful period of their military expansion. Weighing approximately 23 tons and capable of 40 km per hour, it struck the perfect balance between firepower, protection, and mobility that the German military doctrine demanded. The Panzer III spearheaded the Blitzkrieg attacks through Poland, France, and the early stages of Operation Barbarossa in Russia. Its 50mm of frontal armor provided adequate protection against most Allied anti-tank weapons in the early war period, while its reliable Maybach engine and sophisticated transmission system gave German commanders the tactical flexibility that defined their success. What made the Panzer III truly exceptional was its adaptability. As the war progressed and it became outclassed by newer Allied tanks, the chassis proved invaluable for other purposes. The most successful German tank destroyer, the Sturmgeschütz III, was built on the Panzer III platform and became one of the most effective anti-tank weapons in the German arsenal. 9. The Panzer II. Armed with only a 20mm main gun and weighing less than 9 tons, this light tank seems insignificant compared to the armored behemoths we've discussed. Yet the Panzer II played a crucial role that heavyweight tanks never could. As Germany's most numerous tank during the early Blitzkrieg campaigns, the Panzer II provided the mobility and reconnaissance capabilities that made German armored tactics so devastatingly effective. Its 40 km/h top speed and relatively compact size allowed German commanders to exploit breakthrough opportunities and maintain the rapid tempo that characterized successful Blitzkrieg operations. The Panzer II's contribution extended far beyond its modest specifications. In Poland and France, these light tanks formed the numerical backbone of German armored divisions, providing the mass necessary to overwhelm defensive positions, while heavier tanks dealt with more fortified targets. In North Africa, Panzer IIs adapt remarkably well to desert conditions, supporting Rommel's Afrika Korps during some of their most successful operations. Perhaps most importantly, the Panzer II served as an invaluable training platform for German tank crews. The combat experience gained by thousands of German tankers in these reliable machines translated directly to improved effectiveness when they later transitioned to more powerful vehicles. The institutional knowledge and tactical expertise developed through Panzer II operations became a cornerstone of German armored doctrine. 8. The Neubaufahrzeug. This multi-turreted heavy tank prototype represents everything that was both innovative and problematic about early German tank development. Weighing 23 tons and featuring multiple turrets, mounting both 75mm and 37mm guns, the Neubaufahrzeug looked advanced for its times. Only a handful were ever produced, and they saw extremely limited combat service in Norway during 1940. Yet this tank's impact on the war was disproportionate to its actual military value. Here's the remarkable truth. The Neubaufahrzeug was primarily a propaganda weapon. German newsreels and photographs showcased these tanks, creating an impression of an overwhelming technological superiority that helped break Allied morale before battles even began. The psychological impact of seeing these futuristic-looking tanks in German propaganda films contributed significantly to the myth of German invincibility. But its complex multi-turret design proved mechanically unreliable. Its armor was inadequate against modern anti-tank weapons, and its 25 km/h maximum speed made it vulnerable to more agile opponents. The tank's brief combat appearance in Norway revealed these fundamental flaws, leading to its quick withdrawal from frontline service. Yet, the Neubaufahrzeug's legacy extends far beyond its combat record. It represented Germany's early experimentation with heavy tank concepts and multi-turret designs that would influence later developments. 7. Panzer IV. Let's start with the unsung hero of the German armored forces, the Panzer IV. Introduced in 1937, this 25-ton workhorse became the backbone of the Wehrmacht armored divisions. With its 75mm KWK-40 cannon and 50mm frontal armor, it might seem modest compared to its bigger brothers, but here's what made it special: adaptability. The Panzer IV fought on every front except the Pacific. Over 8,500 were produced, making it Germany's most manufactured tank. Its crew of 5 operated a machine that could hit 42 km/h and had a range that kept it in the fight longer than most Allied tanks. What made the Panzer IV legendary wasn't its raw power, it was its reliability. While Tiger tanks broke down in spectacular fashion, Panzer IVs kept rolling. Allied commanders learned to respect this ordinary tank that consistently delivered extraordinary results. 6. Sturmgeschütz III, StuG III. Now, here's where German ingenuity gets deadly clever. The StuG III wasn't technically a tank. It was an assault gun without a rotating turret. But this 24-ton Predator became one of the most feared vehicles on any battlefield. Picture a low-profile steel coffin armed with a 75mm StuG 40 cannon, protected by up to 80mm of armor. The StuG III's crew of 4 turned this machine into the ultimate ambush weapon. Its low silhouette meant it could hide in places where traditional tanks would stick out like monuments. Over 11,000 StuG IIIs were produced, more than any other German armored vehicle. Allied tank crews developed a genuine phobia of StuG holes, which were camouflaged positions where these killers waited in silence. The psychological impact was devastating. Knowing that any innocent-looking bush or building could hide a machine capable of destroying you created a paranoia that affected entire Allied formations. But wait. What happened when a single StuG III faced an entire American tank company in the Battle of the Bulge? The answer will shock you. On December 17, 1944, near Malmedy, a single StuG III commanded by Unteroffizier Klaus Weber destroyed 7 American Sherman tanks in 4 minutes before disappearing into the forest. The entire company retreated, believing they'd encountered a full German armored battalion. 1 vehicle, 7 kills. 4 minutes. That's the power of German engineering and tactical surprise. 5. Sturmtiger. Imagine a weapon so massive that its shells require a crane to load. Meet the Sturmtiger, a 65-ton monster built on the Tiger I chassis, armed with a 380mm rocket launcher that could obliterate entire city blocks. Only 19 Sturmtigers were ever built, making them absolutely rare, but their impact was disproportionate to their numbers. During the Warsaw Uprising, a single Sturmtiger shell didn't just destroy buildings, it erased them from existence. The psychological effect was immediate. Entire districts would surrender rather than face this mechanical apocalypse. The Sturmtiger's crew of 5 operated what was essentially a mobile siege cannon. Each rocket weighed 345 kilograms and could penetrate 2.5 meters of reinforced concrete. When Allied forces first encountered these monsters, they literally didn't have classification codes for them because nothing like this had ever existed. 4. Jagdtiger. Now we enter the realm of the truly monstrous. The Jagdtiger wasn't just a tank destroyer. It was a mobile fortress armed with a 12.8cm PaK-44 cannon that could penetrate any Allied armor at ranges exceeding 3 kilometers. Weighing between 70 to 75 tons, the Jagdtiger was the heaviest operational armored fighting vehicle of World War II. Its frontal armor reached an incredible 250mm thickness, essentially impenetrable to most Allied weapons. The crew of 6 operated a machine that could destroy enemy tanks before they even knew they were under attack. But here's the twist. The Jagdtiger was so powerful it became impractical. Its massive weight meant constant mechanical failures, and its size made it nearly impossible to conceal or transport. Only 88 were ever completed, but those that made it to battle created legends. At the Battle of Hürtgen Forest, a single Jagdtiger held up an entire American armored division for 3 days. Not through combat. The Americans simply refused to advance knowing it was there. That's the definition of psychological warfare. 3. Panther. Panzerkampfwagen V. The Panther represents German tank design at its most sophisticated. Introduced in 1943 as a direct response to the Soviet T-34, this 45-ton masterpiece combined the best of all worlds: firepower, protection, and mobility. Armed with a 75mm KWK-42 cannon and protected by ingeniously sloped 80mm frontal armor, the Panther could engage enemies at ranges where return fire was impossible. Its top speed of 55 km per hour made it faster than most Allied tanks, while its 250-kilometer range meant it could operate independently for extended periods. The Panther's debut at the Battle of Kursk was initially disastrous due to mechanical issues, but once those problems were solved, It became arguably the best all-around tank of the war. Allied intelligence reports from 1944 consistently ranked the Panther as the most dangerous German tank, more feared than even the mighty Tigers. What made the Panther truly special was its influence on post-war tank design. Every major power studied captured Panthers, and their design principles influenced tank development for decades. But here's something that'll blow your mind. Wonder what happened when 5 Panthers faced off against an entire Soviet tank brigade at the Battle of Brody? The outcome was so incredible that Soviet commanders initially refused to believe the reports. At the Battle of Brody in July 1944, 5 Panthers from the 16th Panzer Division engaged a Soviet tank brigade consisting of over 50 T-34s and heavy tanks. In the ensuing battle, the Panthers destroyed 39 Soviet tanks, while losing only one of their own to mechanical failure, not enemy fire. The Soviet brigade commander was so shocked by the lopsided report that he initially reported facing an entire German Panzer division, not 5 tanks. 2. Tiger I, Panzerkampfwagen VI, Tiger Ausf I. Now we reach the stuff of legends. The Tiger I was a tank that changed the nature of armored warfare. When Allied crews heard that distinctive engine roar, many abandoned their positions before firing a shot. This 54-ton behemoth mounted an 88mm KWK-36 cannon that could destroy any Allied tank at ranges exceeding 2 kilometers. Protected by up to 120mm of frontal armor, the Tiger I was essentially invulnerable to most Allied weapons when engaged frontally. But the Tiger I's true power wasn't in its specifications, it was in its ace commanders. Michael Wittmann, the most famous tank commander in history, scored 138 tank kills in his Tiger I. At the Battle of Villers-Bocage, Wittmann single-handedly destroyed an entire British armored column of 14 tanks, 15 personnel carriers, and 2 anti-tank guns in just 15 minutes. Otto Karius, another Tiger ace, once held off an entire Soviet tank brigade with just 2 Tigers. The psychological impact was so severe that some Allied units would retreat upon merely hearing rumors of Tiger presence in their sector. The Tiger I at Bovington Tank Museum in England still draws gasps from visitors who can't believe something so massive could move at 45 kilometers per hour. 1. Tiger II, King Tiger, Panzerkampfwagen VI, Tiger Ausführung B. And finally, we reach the apex of German tank engineering, the Tiger II, known as the Königstiger, or King Tiger. This 70-ton colossus represented the absolute pinnacle of World War II tank design, combining devastating firepower with impenetrable armor. The Tiger II's 88mm KWK-43 cannon could destroy any Allied tank at ranges exceeding 3.5 kilometers. Its sloped armor, reaching 185mm in thickness on the turret front, was essentially immune to all Allied tank guns except at point-blank range. The mere presence of a King Tiger on a battlefield could alter entire tactical plans. What made the Tiger II truly terrifying was its psychological impact. Allied reconnaissance would sometimes report King Tiger sightings even when none were present. The fear was so intense that crews saw Tigers everywhere. Tank commanders who had faced regular Tigers with confidence would freeze when confronted with the distinctive silhouette of a King Tiger. The mechanical complexity that made the King Tiger so powerful also made it vulnerable. Fuel consumption was enormous, mechanical breakdowns were frequent, and its massive weight limited bridge crossings and mobility. But when it worked, nothing could stop it. At the Battle of the Bulge, a single King Tiger commanded by Hauptmann Sepp Allerberger held the Losheim Gap for 6 hours against an entire American armored combat command. The Americans eventually bypassed the position rather than face it directly, giving up a crucial strategic objective to avoid one tank. The composite armor used in today's main battle tanks traces its lineage to the face-hardened steel of the Tiger II. So, what's your take on these legendary German tanks? Which one do you think had the greatest impact on the war? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from history's most fascinating conflicts.